Good morning everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be covering combat. So, I'm on the Catch Craft server, and a lot of people say I'm the best person in combat on the server. I'm not so sure, but anyways, I know a lot about combat, and know a fair amount of all there is to know about combat. Today I'm going to be talking about combat, and how you can get better, and all the little tips and tricks. As you can see, I have everything laid out in front of us. To start out, you're going to need to know about how to time your hits. So if you go into Escape, Options, Video Settings, Attack Indicator right here, right underneath you bobbing on the right side right here. Attack Indicator, it can be crosshair, hotbar, off. I'm leaving it on crosshair because that is the easiest way to read. Off, I mean, that's pretty hard to read it if it doesn't even exist, I mean. Anyways, as you can see right underneath my crosshair in the center of the screen, when I click this little sword that quickly recharges, that is the timing that I need to do for my clicks. If I do faster than that, I do practically no damage. So, let's start off with the sword. So with the sword, as you can see, the speed it takes to recharge is a lot longer than with the fist. It has a 1.6 attack speed, 11 attack damage. So let's go ahead and do this. As you can see, 2 hits. So I can just kill it in 2 hits all the time if I time it right. So as you can see, swing, swing. So if you do it enough, it'll start getting more natural instinct for how to time it properly. So then there's critical hits. When you jump and hit, you get extra damage. So generally you try to time your jumps with your hits, so that way you get extra damage like this. Anyways, let's move on to the axe. With the sword, you're going to want to have sharpness 5 when fighting other players. When fighting mobs, it just depends on the type of mob, because different mobs do different things. Sharpness does everything. Axe, again, in general, you'll want sharpness 5 on your axe. But if you get smite 5, I think you can one-shot pigmen, so that's pretty nice. Anyways, let's go ahead. As you can see, the rewind time is a lot longer on the axe. It has an attack speed of 1 and attack damage of 13. So it takes longer for you to swing, but when you swing, it does more damage. So as you can see, again, 2 hits, but the second hit probably a lot of the hit doesn't do any damage. It doesn't have to do as much damage. Now let's see what happens with critical hits. Again, 2 hits, but it's doing more damage. So, axe does more damage, takes longer to rewind. That's a lot just preference. If you're going up into combat, I'd advise having both an axe and a sword, so that way you can get like the first hit with the axe and then switch to your sword and beat them up. Next is the bow. So for the bow, you're going to want to have power 5. And again, other things would be very useful, such as infinity. But power 5 is going to be the big one, and you want to draw back fully and then release. So then, one thing that would be useful to probably do would be to maybe get like a target block, set it up fairly far away, and just practice shooting at the target block. As you can see, the arrow will drop in elevation, so it takes some practice, and there's a level of being random, but you can always get it within that one block. Now, if you want to get it farther, jump when you shoot. Pull back, jump, and then release your arrow on your ascent. If you release your arrow on your descent, it'll make your arrow not go as far. If you release the arrow on your ascent, it will make your arrow go farther. Just a little tip and trick that will help you with really long range shooting of your bow and arrow. Next are the crossbows. So I have 3 versions of crossbows. Let me real quickly unload them. So there's the crossbow, power 5 crossbow, and multi-shot crossbow. Let me grab an arrow. So, normal crossbow, it's good. Just 1 arrow. I think it's decent. It's a little bit lower than the bows. Again, it appears if you jump, it'll make it go a little bit higher. It has the same mechanics of jumping on your ascent makes it go farther, and on your descent makes it go less far. Now, power 5. Let's real quickly test the normal one on mob. 1, 2, 3. One thing that you may notice, differences between crossbows and bows. Crossbow, it can hold an arrow, but it takes longer to reload. So it has its pros and cons. So again, probably best to have a crossbow and a bow and arrow. One very important thing is the bow and arrow you want power 5 on, right? Not so with the crossbow. Power on a crossbow does absolutely nothing in every situation, so you never want it. Multi-shot, I'm going to show that real quick off though. It can be quite useful. It shoots 3 arrows, and one of the arrows is the official arrow that you can then go pick back up. I think because I've been creative, I can pick them all up, but if none of the arrows hit, or maybe even if one of the arrows do hit, there's 1 arrow that you'll be able to then go pick up and get an arrow back for. Now I want to show you the crossbows with firework rockets. Make sure that it's loading. Okay, it's not loading fireworks. If it doesn't load the firework rocket, like if you have arrows in your inventory, you're going to want to put it in your offhand. So this one flies completely straight, which is very useful. It is a completely straight projectile. Most projectiles are not completely straight. Now, you can add a ball on it for that adds the amount. The max you can get, I think, is 7. I have 7 right here. So this thing is pretty lethal. As you can see, this will probably 1-shot him. Nope, okay. But it'll 2-shot him. It'll take somebody in pretty good diamond armor down like 3-4 hearts. So it packs quite a punch. Anyways, again, power does absolutely nothing. And then you have multi-shot. So before, multi-shot was good. This time, again, extremely good. 3 rockets. So like if you have a horde of things attacking you, just use this and you can kill them all. So let's try multi-shot right here. Oh, didn't actually 1-shot them. Oh well. I guess maybe I'm not sure exactly how multi-shot works. Maybe it doesn't do damage, only one of them does damage. I don't know how it works, but it's pretty nice in all situations. Now, moving on to the Tridents. You have 2 types of Tridents. You have the Loyalty Trident and the Riptide Trident. They are used for 2 completely different things. So the Loyalty Trident, you can throw, and it'll come back to you. Now, I still have it because I'm in creative mode, but you can just throw it and it'll return to you. Again, it has a slight descent on it. This is mostly an aquatic weapon. You might think, well, it could be very useful outside of water. That is true. It does as much damage as a diamond sword, 9 attack damage. It does more damage until you add sharpness onto the diamond sword. So once you add sharpness onto the diamond sword, I think it is equal. So this is a pretty good weapon. It has impaling 5 on it. What does that do? Impaling 5 causes it to do more damage to aquatic mobs. There are no aquatic mobs, but it'll allow you to do more damage to any form of aquatic mob. other than, I think, drowned. I'm not sure whether drowned count as aquatic mobs or not. I'm not sure. There's some aquatic mob that it doesn't actually do extra damage to. That's probably a glitch. Now, so that is Loyalty. Extremely useful weapon. Now, Riptide. You basically throw it when you're in water and ride it. So it could be very useful when it comes to launching with an elytra or getting around while in water. It is especially useful when it's raining, because when it is raining, you can pretty much fly around wherever you want to. When you come in contact with a mob with the Riptide Trident, it will do extra damage. So, like, let me go quickly activate that with a... Oh, okay, I guess I can activate that with a Loyalty Trident. But anyways, as you can see, I'm pretty sure it did damage. Even if it doesn't, it's a very good way to quickly approach on your enemy. Alright, so next we have the shield. Grab that with a sword, put the shield on the offhand, and let's go ahead and set my game mode to survival. And so this is what the shield does. So the shield can block incoming hits, so you can block swing. Let's do that again real quick. Block swing. Block swing. So the shield is useful when it comes to combat, especially with other players, because it will kill. No, it'll stop, not kill. Shields don't kill. Swords kill. Shields block. It'll block a sword, an axe, a bow, a crossbow, though I'm not sure rockets, tridents, fists. It'll block pretty much anything from giving you damage. So that is extremely useful. Moving on to the Totem of Undying. If I switch myself to survival mode and bring this guy in here, he's gonna come and try to kill me. But if I'm holding the Totem of Undying, either my main hand or offhand, most of the time offhand, when I die, it'll give me 4 hearts of absorption for a little bit, and then fire resistance and regeneration too. And so that makes it where traps are easier to survive when you have that on your offhand. Moving on to ender pearls and lava. So if you're running away from somebody, it could be very useful to place lava behind you to give them an obstacle, so that if I were the person chasing after them, I'd have to run all the way around it. Or if you can place the lava on a person like that, it instantaneously starts doing damage. This is especially useful when running down a long hallway. You can turn and place the lava and it'll fill the hallway. But then, here comes an ender pearl. Ender pearl is very useful for getting around, especially would be useful getting past lava. Let me try that again and to not land in the lava. See, if it was a long hallway, I would have gone through anyways. So ender pearls and lava can be fairly useful. Ender pearls can also be useful for randomly teleporting around into trees and doing that, or teleporting onto the top of a giant beaver. If you want to see me making this beaver, go check out the video. Link will be in the description. But it's a good way to teleport, and especially useful for getting away from getting away from other players when you're low on health. But just be careful. When you throw an ender pearl, it does a small amount of damage to you, which means that if you have 1 heart left, don't use the ender pearl to escape the person trying to kill you. Well, you can, because then your items aren't given to the person, but in general, it's not really gonna help you. Anyway. Next, we have the golden apple and the super golden apple. Technically, according to the thing, it's an enchanted golden apple. It can also be it's also called super golden apple, a notch apple, many names. This has many names. So, you can call it whatever you want. I call it the super apple. The golden apple, you can craft. Super apple, you used to be able to craft. Now you can no longer craft it. You can find it in, like, dungeons and stuff like that, and, like, desert temples, but you can no longer craft it, which is very, very unfortunate, but understandable. So, as you can see, I'm now in survival mode. If I bring in this dude here, he can attack me. And if I eat a golden apple, it'll give me 2 hearts of absorption, as well as regeneration and a little bit of regeneration. So this is a very good, just generic thing to give you a slight edge in the combat arena. Then, if you're really looking for something to make you OP, you take the enchanted golden apple. It gives you regeneration, absorption 4, which is 8 hearts, resistance, and fire resistance. When you have full diamond armor and you take this thing, for me particularly, the thing I'm thinking about is Egg Wars, in which you can buy these things. You can buy these in Egg Wars. But when you have one of these, it becomes pretty much impossible to kill you if you have a good amount of armor on. So, if you're in like a mini game thing and you can get these, I would most definitely advise it, but they can give you a huge edge in the combat area. Next, I have a couple sets of armor. If you want a good, just generic set of armor, this is what I'd advise. The turtle shell, elytra, netherite leggings, golden boots. The turtle shell gives you water breathing for 10 seconds every time you hit air, which basically allows you to use the old water system of scuba gear, where you, let me show you it. So if you have water, and this is all filled up with water, and you had a bucket, you could do this, and it temporarily opens up the spot for your head when you're on the bottom of the ocean, which then, with it being opened up, if you have the turtle shell, it will allow you to breathe. The golden boots will stop piglins from attacking you when you are in the nether, and the elytra is useful for just getting around. Next is for just overworld, turtle shell helmet for water, elytra for getting around, and then the rest can be netherite because you aren't going to be running into piglins. Then you have for the nether, I would advise netherite helmet, netherite leggings, elytra, and golden boots. Now for all 3 of these, with the elytra, I'd advise also having a netherite chest plate. But coming to the next one, you have all netherite. This is for like if you're planning to battle a player. I'd advise having an elytra in your inventory, but I'd advise you most of the time having full netherite armor, so that way you can take as little damage as possible. When it comes to enchantments, I'd advise probably going with, I generally go with protection 4 on everything, except for one piece of armor that has fire protection 4, because I hate dying in lava because you lose everything. Meanwhile, if, let's say, when it comes to with fire protection has a level of help more than blast protection or projectile protection. Because blast protection and projectile protection, when you take them, they will, if you get blown up by a creeper, or shot by a skeleton, either way, you still can go get all your stuff. When you die in lava, except for now that there's netherite, you can't go get your stuff. And even if you do have netherite, everything is netherite, you still have a problem. You're going to need to get a strider to get out there. So, in general, I go with fire protection on one piece of armor, with then protection on all the other pieces of armor, but it is perfectly acceptable for you to completely customize it however you so choose. In this video, I covered all of the weapons and armor for combat and stuff, and different little tools you could use for combat. So, I covered quite a lot, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click that like button. If you want to see more, click the subscribe button. I really do hope that you found this video informative. Good night, everyone.